All right, all right. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome aboard. If you're listening to the replay, I'm really glad you're here. What's your deepest desire for your life? Are you doing the things that are required to achieve them? I've been in lots of discussions lately where this has come up, and the research shows that for all of humanity, we can reduce all of the desires we have in the most important parts of our lives into just four desires. And today, I'm going to be talking about the four human desires that live inside all of us. These desires are the difference makers between being ordinary or having an extraordinary quality of life. And they're part of a new online course I'm developing I call the Fulfillment Formula. I've been jamming on it night and day for the last couple of months, and I'm rolling it out in just a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to share this with you. So, in today's live training, I'll share these four desires with you. And when you really understand what they are, you can take the steps toward achieving them that you need to achieve a more extraordinary quality of life and to be fulfilled. So let's start this. Let's dive right in. Okay. Once you're aware of these four desires, you'll start noticing how they actually show up in your life. And I believe once you start paying attention to them, you'll understand their importance and want to create changes in your life to have more of them. I'm going to start by making a distinction. Your desires are not the same as your needs. Everybody's heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We all have basic needs for food, water, clothing, shelter, safety, rest. The four desires we all share in common, they come after you meet those needs. So as I teach you these desires, I want you to get crystal clear on what they mean to you. What are your desires as I take you through these? And I'll explain them one at a time to you. And I would encourage you to take notes as we go because it's super important that you know this. This is going to simplify things for you a lot. And that's why I'm giving it to you. So this framework is a triangle. So you can draw a triangle in your notes. And the first thing we all want is aliveness. Aliveness. Now, there are lots of words to describe this. It means vibrancy, enthusiasm, or energy. Good health, safety, and security would fit into this bucket too. Aliveness is that presence when you walk into a room, that heightened energy. It's an awareness level energy, that spirit where you want to feel the day. That's aliveness, right? A positive, consistent emotional range that feeds your confidence. Some people are rich, but they're bored to death. They've got no sense of aliveness. This is where your passion for life, your vibrancy lives. Your enthusiasm that keeps you going is right here. Something that's engaging or exciting you. This is where you have a drive for novelty, new things, new adventures, new experiences, fun, awareness, presence, and passion. What's your source of aliveness? Do you know what that is? Think back on your life to a moment where you felt really super alive. What were you doing then? What were you focused on? What was your mindset like? We need to feel more fulfilled to feel alive. If you or someone you know is living with unhealed trauma, what would having more aliveness look like for you? Would it be relief from some of the triggers that disrupt your life? Would it help you feel more alive if you could just turn the dial down and all that noise in your head? To have that peace of mind and sense of calm, more predictability and consistency in interacting with your colleagues at work or socially. Maybe it's finally to get a good night's sleep. Maybe it's just to feel safe long enough to breathe. A sigh of relief to relief from anxiety or just being engaged in living life. If that's you, this is your community where you'll find support and encouragement to create the shifts you want to make and achieve your deepest desire for aliveness. And look, aliveness isn't just an end state. It's something you feel all the time because you've got the habits and the routines you live every day to live fully. Aliveness isn't an outcome either. It's how you live that determines how much aliveness you generate. And here's another thing I want you to see. Most people think aliveness comes from some external place outside of them. Well, even though the environment you're in certainly contributes to how alive you feel on a consistent basis, you still have a huge say in this. I like to say the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates it. Well, you're a power plant that generates energy. You get to generate as much aliveness as you want because aliveness is about energy, building energy that leads to more sustained happiness, satisfaction, joy, fulfillment. So, if you want to have an extraordinary life, not just a better life, an extraordinary one, you need to generate more aliveness. What is that for you? What makes you come alive? The second human desire we have is connection. Connection. It's related to our aliveness. Aliveness is your joie de vivre. It's feeling good throughout the day, feeling safe in your environment and in your own skin. That's all in aliveness, okay? Feeling the day. Connection, though, is about your relationships. We all want deep, meaningful, lasting, and important relationships in our lives. Great relationships make us feel alive, don't they? We want them to work. We want them at home. Well, of course, we want them to work, but we want them at work and we want them at home. We want real, authentic relationships. And most people have forgotten how to do that. Our social skills are still recovering from the pandemic. Our dependency on social media has contributed to it too. Did you know there are these companies that pay the best in the world's best engineers a ton of money to figure out ways to grab your attention and keep you scrolling on their app? But attention isn't connection. Liking someone else's posts and spending time following someone doesn't build a connection with them. People who know me know I'm passionate about raising awareness of unhealed trauma, and that is nothing to fear. People living with unhealed trauma tend to isolate themselves from others in ways that makes it harder for them to create and build deep, meaningful connections with others. Stigma around trauma makes it hard to talk about what they're going through, so they don't feel understood or valued. So they don't feel like they belong, and that makes them isolate themselves. Then they get down on themselves and withdraw even more. Many people with unhealed traumas turn to social media because it's a safe place to spend time interacting with others. And they've got plenty of distance between them and you and them, so you don't really have to expose yourself to them. They don't have to understand you. They don't have to value you or appreciate you. They don't even have to respect you. You can like them from a distance, and that's enough to numb what's inside of you. But that's not real connection. What is that for you? Who do you want to create a deeper, more meaningful connection with? What would a vibrant, amazing, fulfilling relationship with that person look like? What would it mean to you? Who would you want to share that with? Do you want more time together? Better communication? Do you want to have more experiences together? What would it mean to really feel like you're understood and supported in a way that you need, or give that to someone who will value you and appreciate you for it? You think that would deepen the connection you share with that person? Of course, not just at home, but at work too. Would your career be more fulfilling if your boss and your colleagues understood you more, appreciated you more, respected you more, or valued your contributions more? Yeah, who needs you on your A game for them so that they can be more of their best, so they can show up better and fulfill their purpose and improve the world? That's the stuff of connection, right? Take a minute to reflect on this. What does a deep, abiding, vibrant, meaningful connection look like for you in your life? The next human desire is meaningful pursuits. Meaningful pursuits. Now, humans like to pursue things. We can be successful and still not feel like we have a meaningful life anymore. We want that meaningful pursuit, to see ourselves in the future, Doing things that we know will bring us more joy, satisfaction, engagement, optimism, aliveness, fulfillment, and meaning. I need to see that something I'm doing matters. I need to see the outcomes and how it benefits others so that they become something I pursue. Have you ever heard someone say, I've lost my purpose in life? They're not really saying that they've lost their purpose. They haven't really lost their purpose. They're really saying, I lost my connection to something that's meaningful to me, something I want to chase. That's meaningful pursuits. There's no formula that I know of to find it, but we can find it. We can pursue something that we're interested in, like a hobby, but that doesn't make it meaningful. I'm talking about something that gives you a sense of purpose and meaning. Sometimes it's clear to you. Sometimes you just stumble into it. And that's what happened to me. When I got my diagnosis 11 years after I retired, I learned everything I could about PTSD. It became a meaningful pursuit to me. I wondered, why did the medical system I depended on my whole adult life never catch it in 30 years of active duty military service? It made me wonder why I wasn't screened for unhealed trauma after more than 24 deployments before I left the military. Then I wondered how many other service members have been walking around with that hell for years and don't even know it. How many of them think that what they're feeling is normal and just who they are? How many family members are suffering alongside them? And as I got into treatment and saw the quality of my life and my relationships begin to dramatically improve, I knew if I could do that, there are lots of veterans and others who want the same things, but they just don't know how to get it. Well, guess what? I found my purpose in that time of self-discovery. I found my meaning, my meaningful pursuit. It's a pursuit worth doing and a community worth building to help others who've sacrificed so much to improve the quality of their life. There's aliveness in that. You see? That's how these human desires overlap for a lot of people, and why I built the course that I'm going to launch to the world next month. And I would love for you to join me. Are you pursuing something that's giving you more meaning to your life? If you aren't, then this community I'm building is a great place to find it. But you can also start it by finding meaning in the pursuit of each moment of every day, and then expanding out as you figure out what's right for you at this next stage of your life, right? Give yourself that grace not to be so hard on yourself. Having a mission isn't enough. You've got to pursue something with passion and positive energy to generate that sense of aliveness and deepen your connection with others. It's worth taking time to reflect on what your meaningful pursuit is. And finally, we all want growth. We all want to become more. And that's why you're here. You want to become more, to grow into your happiness as a parent, a spouse, a professional at what you do. If you watch trainings like this just for the tactics, you'll always be unsatisfied and always find something to complain about. But I don't believe that's why you're here. I'm doing this to give you a growth opportunity so you can discover there's more of life waiting for you. And I want to help you put the building blocks into practice into your life with confidence so that you can see the outcomes. So becoming more is why we're all here together, growing together, because you can learn these tactics and some of the other resources I'm rolling out for this community, but ultimately it's about your growth. It's about your progress in life. You want to become more. You want to grow in your happiness in your life. You want to grow in your relationships. You want to grow as a parent. You want to grow in your mission in life. Even if you don't know what you want, or that you want that, when it's not there, you feel it. Did you know that? Most people don't know they want to grow, but when the opportunity to grow is absent, they know something's going on in their psychology. They may not label it growth. They may call it forward progress, like I'm not making enough forward progress, or I'm not reaching my true potential, but it's all the same language of becoming more. Have you ever said any of those things about yourself and your own journey through life? You want to sense that you're progressing in your character and your capabilities. If someone takes that away from you, you can have everything else and you'll be unhappy. We often envy people who are rich and have a lot of things, the big house, the boss car, trips to exotic places, lots of money in the bank. But a lot of those people have so much material wealth are unhappy. They're unfulfilled because they aren't growing. And a lot of people who are in this category suffer from massive depression because they had their meaning at one time and their growth, they tied their growth to that one thing. And once they made it, there's no activity keeping them growing. You have to be really aware of this. People with unhealed trauma face this challenge too, because many believe they can't heal and can't grow. They don't know trauma is just a wound and you can heal a wound. So they don't know how to get out of that mindset. For many of them, they don't know there's a path to a better life through personal development coaching, even with their unhealed trauma. Survival and coping isn't the same as growth. It's about growth, baby. Tony Robbins said, if you aren't growing, you're dying. And I completely agree. As long as you're growing, you're progressing, because progress is the secret to happiness. It's not about arriving at the destination and achieving all sorts of things. The journey is the reward, isn't it? And growth is a fundamental part of feeling more alive each day, creating deeper connections, and chasing something that gives your life meaning. So, what does your desire to grow mean to you? Just take time to reflect on that and check in with yourself. Are you growing in your life? Are you evolving into a better version of yourself? So, these are the 4 things that we all want: aliveness, deep connections, meaningful pursuits, and growth. I think everything that the human experience desires is summarized right there. We could use different words to describe the same things, but this model really helps me to think about it and organize my life and the things that I do to pursue a better life around those 4 desires. That's why I wanted to share it with you. And I hope you were able to identify your deepest desires in this exercise. Please hit that subscribe button and that bell to join me every week, where I provide advanced training designed to help you achieve more happiness, life satisfaction, and optimism for the future. Until next time, remember to live courageously, love with all your heart, and lead from the front. We'll see you next week.